Hello and welcome to today's video about the NSERC Northern Research Supplements Program, or for short, NRS. This video will briefly describe the NRS program and explain how to apply for a Northern Research Supplement. We will also discuss what information is required when submitting an application, the typical review process for the program, including the selection criteria, and how equity, diversity, and inclusion is considered throughout various components of the application, and give some helpful resources to keep in mind when preparing an NRS application. The NRS program has been established to augment and promote Canadian university-based Northern research and training. The main purpose of the NRS program is to recognize the added costs unique to conducting research in the Canadian North. Recipients of NRS awards are not restricted to the specific activities described in the application, but they must pursue research interests in the North. Only costs associated with working in the Canadian North are eligible expenses. For the purposes of this program, Canada's North is defined as the land and ocean-based territory north of the southern limit of isolated patches of permafrost from northern British Columbia to Labrador, including the entirety of the three territories. Geographic eligibility does not include the stretch down the central Rocky Mountains along the BC-Alberta border and several other non-contiguous pockets further to the south. To be eligible to be awarded an NRS, applicants must meet NSERC's eligibility requirements for faculty to apply for or hold grant funds and be successful in the current Discovery Grants competition cycle. Applicants must apply for NRS at the same time they submit their full application for a Discovery Grant by indicating their interest in being considered for this supplement and attaching their NRS proposal with list of references and their planned NRS budget with budget justification. The deadline for NRS therefore matches the Discovery Grant's full application deadline of November 1st at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, or the next business day if this date lands on a weekend or a federal holiday. Successful applicants will typically receive a supplement to their Discovery Grant in the range of $10,000 to $25,000 per year for the duration of their DG. Awards at the upper end of this range will be made to those with higher logistical costs and to recognize outstanding contributions to outreach, engagement, and collaboration with Northerners. Note that the NRS Review Committee is separate from the Discovery Grants evaluation groups and will not see all content within your Discovery Grants application. Here is a very high-level overview of a typical NRS cycle. Applications are received by 8 p.m. Eastern Time on November 1st. Note that you can only submit an NRS at the same time as you submit your Discovery Grant application. The research portal opens for the Discovery Grants process usually in mid-August. December through March, the NRS committee members review, score, and meet to discuss all eligible applications. An eligible NRS application is one that is successful in receiving a Discovery Grant. Results are provided to the applicants at the same time as their Discovery Grants results, typically by April 1st, followed by payments of any NRS installments to the applicable institutions. As mentioned, applications are submitted through NSERC's research portal as part of the DG full application process. A complete NRS application contains material from both the Discovery Grant application and separate NRS modules and attachments. In addition to their DG application material, applicants must indicate their interest in being considered for this supplement, complete the NRS proposed expenditures table, and provide 2 additional PDF attachments as follows: a budget justification, 2 pages maximum in length, and a 3-page maximum NRS proposal with 1 additional page for a list of references. Note that all attachments must meet NSERC's research portal presentation and attachment standards. Certain application material is taken directly from the Discovery Grant application, and there is no need for the NRS applicant to repeat submission of this information. Information taken directly from the DG application and provided to the NRS committee includes the application profile, summary of proposal, most significant contributions, relationship to other research support, CCV, and additional information on contributions. Additional information to the Discovery Grant that is required for NRS applicants is as follows: the NRS Proposed Expenditures Table, a 2-page NRS Budget Justification, a 3-page NRS Proposal, and 1 page of references relating to the NRS proposal. Note that any pages in excess of the number permitted will be removed and not seen by the NRS committee. As previously mentioned, while certain material is pulled from the Discovery Grant application and provided to the NRS committee, it is important to remember that the NRS committee does not see all information contained in your DG application. The following information from the Discovery Grant application is not seen by the committee: the DG Proposed Expenditures Table, DG Budget Justification, HQP Training Plan, past contributions to HQP training, 5-page DG proposal, and the 4 submitted samples of research contributions. When an applicant is preparing their NRS in conjunction with the DG application, it is expected that their DG proposal will likely incorporate aspects of their research in the North, as the DG proposal is defining the researcher's program of research. It is important that the information related to the justification for the NRS support is also incorporated within the modules and attachments directly requested for the NRS submission. As one of the additional components of applying for an NRS, applicants must complete the NRS Proposed Expenditures Table, which is a 5-year budget distinct from the DG Proposed Expenditures. NRS awards are typically the same duration as the Discovery Grant. However, the amount requested each year may vary, with higher expenditures in years involving more travel to the North. Regardless of any potential variability in expenditures, the amount requested from NSERC for NRS should be equally dispersed across all DG funding years, and the total amount requested from NSERC should not exceed $25,000 annually. While there is no minimum annual amount, the total amount requested from the NRS program should total no less than $50,000 across all years. The total amount requested from NSERC is calculated automatically by subtracting the total cash contributions, if any, from the total proposed expenditures. Note that only costs associated with working in the Canadian North are eligible expenses. University-based student stipends and salaries for university research personnel are not eligible, and any costs incurred outside of Canada cannot be paid from an NRS award. Applicants should also provide a budget justification of a maximum of 2 pages. In this document, applicants should provide a detailed explanation and justification for each budget item identified in the NRS Proposed Expenditures Table. The budget justification should provide sufficient information to allow reviewers to assess whether the resources requested are appropriate. These pages should only contain information pertinent to the NRS Proposed Expenditures Budget Table. Various eligible expenses can and should be described in the budget justification. For any costs associated with working in the North, the applicant should provide an outline of the expenses that are expected to be incurred due to the high costs of undertaking research in the North, including community consultations and outreach, as well as engagement and collaborations with Northerners. The onus is on the applicant to justify how these costs are unique to be conducting research in the Canadian North. Stipends, honoraria, salaries for local students and Northern participants, including Indigenous researchers, are eligible expenses. However, university-based student stipends and university research personnel salaries are not an eligible expense, and formally supervised HQP cannot be paid with NRS funds. The applicant should give a breakdown of the required individuals to be supported and any applicable fees, and justify each position requested. For equipment or facility expenses, provide a breakdown of the items requested, models, manufacturers, prices, and applicable taxes. Justify each item requested, and explain how it is specific to use in the North. Fees to be paid for the use of equipment or a facility in the North should be described. For any materials and supplies for use in the North, provide details and explain major items and their use in the North. When justifying expenses for travel to and from Northern Canada, explain briefly how each activity relates to the proposed research. To describe costs related to the dissemination, outreach, engagement, and collaboration with Northerners and Indigenous communities, provide details of dissemination costs, translation costs, workshops, consultations, or other community engagement activities undertaken in the North. Note that publication costs in peer-reviewed journals are not normally an eligible expense for an NRS award. Other expenses can be eligible as long as they are related to undertaking research or research-related activities in the North. List any items not included in the previously mentioned categories and provide a brief explanation for major items. The onus is on the applicant to clearly describe all expenses and justify how these costs are unique to conducting research in the Canadian North. The applicant must submit an NRS proposal of a maximum of 3 pages. This proposal is a separate document from the DG proposal and must specifically address the 4 NRS selection criteria: excellence of the proposed research in the North, need for NRS funds, outreach, engagement, collaboration, and communication initiatives, and contributions to the training of highly qualified personnel. These selection criteria will be further discussed in upcoming slides. The proposal must also define the Northern Canadian locations where the research will be conducted, give the names of surrounding towns or specific communities, or the latitudes and longitudes, and the amount of time spent conducting research and research-related activities in the areas. In addition to the 3 pages available for the proposal, applicants may use up to 1 page to list literature references. This document should not contain any hyperlinks or refer to any websites or other external sources for additional information outside of the application material. NRS applications are evaluated on 4 weighted selection criteria. The selection criteria are as follows: excellence of the proposed research in the North, which is weighted at 30% of the overall score; need for NRS funds, also weighted at 30%; outreach, engagement, collaboration, and communication initiatives, which is weighted at 20% of the overall score; and finally, contribution to the training of highly qualified personnel, or HQP, which is also weighted at 20% of the overall score. For the excellence of the proposed research in the North criterion, the applicant should summarize the objectives and plans for research in the North, detail plans for the inclusion of traditional and local knowledge in the research, if appropriate, demonstrate the feasibility of the proposed research given the available facilities, services, and infrastructure support, illustrate the potential to produce new knowledge and research results of benefit to Indigenous communities, to the North, and to all Canadians, report on recent progress of research in the North, and describe recent research collaborations and interactions with Northerners. It is important to remember that the NRS Committee does not have access to all the information contained in the DG proposal. Please ensure that all information you want the NRS Committee to see is provided in the earlier listed material that is provided to the NRS Committee. For the need for NRS funds criterion, applicants should detail unique logistical expenses due to the high costs of undertaking research in the North, excluding university-based student stipends and salaries for university research personnel. Highlight needs related to community outreach, engagement, collaboration, and communications initiatives undertaken in the North. For example, consultation expenses, extended accommodation costs or honoraria, stipends, and salaries directed at Northerners and community members. Research and consultation costs are only considered when clearly indicated in the expenditures table and well described in the budget justification. Demonstrate the appropriateness of and justification for the NRS budget. Clarify availability of other sources of funding and the relationship to the current proposal, and indicate the amount of time to be spent conducting research and research-related activities in the North. For the outreach, engagement, collaboration, and communication initiatives criterion, the applicant should highlight community outreach and consultation activities to engage Northerners in planning and conducting the research. Describe the plans, including costs, to interact and collaborate with and to incorporate Northerners in the research program. Include and demonstrate the impact of community engagement and training activities for Northern researchers, Northern students, and any local participants. Describe how equity, diversity, and inclusion are considered in outreach, such as community engagement and training activities, for example. Explain planned strategies to communicate and disseminate research results and to promote Northern research and training. And explain plans to ensure the proper management of data and information resulting from research activities. For the contribution to the training of highly qualified personnel, or HQP criterion, applicants should outline the quality and extent of past contributions and demonstrate opportunities to train university-based HQP, for example, postdoctoral fellows, graduate and undergraduate students, technicians, in the North. And summarize considerations of equity, diversity, and inclusion specific to past and planned training of HQP in the North. Discovery Grants Evaluation Groups evaluate Discovery Grant applications in accordance with the established DG evaluation criteria without seeing the NRS-specific attachments. Following the evaluation of the DG application, the NRS applications from DG applications that have been recommended for funding are forwarded to the NRS Selection Committee. The NRS Selection Committee is a multidisciplinary panel comprised of experts in the natural sciences and engineering, as well as experts from public and/or private sector organizations with experience in Northern issues. The NRS Selection Committee reviews and scores applications based on the 4 weighted selection criteria and determines an overall quality cutoff. The committee also recommends funding levels between $10,000 and $25,000 for each application to NSERC. However, NSERC makes all final funding decisions. Each application is reviewed by 3 to 5 committee members. External reviews are not used in the NRS review process. NRS competition results are released along with the DG results in April each year. Research teams that are diverse and inclusive incorporate the multiple perspectives needed to foster innovation and research excellence through increased collaboration, added creativity, and more effective problem solving, resulting in improved performance, more rigorous results, and greater impact. Applicants are expected to increase the inclusion, advancement, and retention of members of equity-deserving groups in the research ecosystem by building high-performing, diverse research teams and inclusive environments where all individuals are provided with equitable opportunities to reach their full potential without barriers. EDI considerations should be reflected in the rationale of the composition of the Northern collaborators and trainees and in the designated roles within the team. For more information, applicants should refer to Section 2 of the NSERC Guide on Integrating Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Considerations in Research that is linked on the following slide. Please note that demographic data should not be submitted. It is not requested or required to assess impacts resulting from consideration of equity, diversity, and inclusion, and how an individual self-identifies is considered personal and confidential information. Applicants are encouraged to access the following resources to assist in the preparation of their NRS applications: the NSERC Guide on Integrating Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Considerations in Research, the Guidelines on the Assessment of Contributions to Research, Training, and Mentoring, the NRS Program webpage, the webpage explaining how to complete NSERC's version of the Canadian Common CV, and the Research Portal Presentation and Attachment Standards. For any questions regarding the NRS program, please send an email to esse@nserc-crsng.gc.ca. All resources are linked in the description of this video. This completes our video. Thank you very much for watching.